ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ यश्छन्दसां वृषभो विश्वरूपः बभूव समेन्द्रो मेधया आस्पृणोतु अमृतस्य देवधारणो भूयासं शरीरं मे विचर्षणं जिह्वा मे मधुमत्तमा कर्णाभ्यां भूरिविश्रुवं ब्रह्मणः कोशोऽसि मेधया पिहितः श्रुतं मे गोपाय। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः स्तुष्ट्वागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्मविद्या सम्प्रदायकर्तृभ्यो वंशऋषिभ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः। सर्वोपप्लवरहितः प्रज्ञानघनः प्रत्यगर्थो ब्रह्मैवाहमस्मि ब्रह्मैवाहमस्मि। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्। नमोऽस्तु ते व्यासविशालबुद्धे पुल्लारविन्दायतपत्रनेत्र येन त्वया भारततैलपूर्णः प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमयप्रदीपः मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम्। यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदः क्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः। ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः। देवाय तस्मै नमः देवाय तस्मै नमः। Nirmana-moha. Fifth shloka. Fifth one. Nirmana-moha jita-sanga-dosha. Nirmana-moha jita-sanga-dosha. Adhyatma-nitya vinivritta-kamaha. Dvandvair-vimukta sukha-dukkha-sangnaihi. Gacchantya-moodaः padam-avyayam tat. Na tad-bhasayate suryah. Na shashanko na pavakah. Yadgatva na nivartante. Tadhama paramam mama. Yesterday we saw these two verses. Whenever Shastra negates, that means there is a possibility. In a way, it is natural to be mani. In a way, it is natural to be endowed with moha. As long as there is identification with the body, as long as there is an ignorance, as long as the jivatva is there will be tendency to seek respect for whatever I have achieved, whatever little I have, in terms of my knowledge, in terms of my power, position, money, whatever. How to be nirmana? We have to remember, as Pujya Swamiji often says, everything is given. I don't own anything. What all I have, because of which I achieved something, is a gift of the God. Even the capacity to achieve is a gift, and the opportunity that I could achieve is also a gift. As very rightly he says, what is success? Success is nothing but to be at a right time, at a right place, with right capacities. That's all success is. You had certain capabilities and happened to be at a right time and a right place, and you got it. So, the possibilities of success, capabilities of success, and success also is given by him. Appreciating this constantly makes one free from manaha. Mana means a desire to seek respect for possessions. And other side of this coin is a tendency to look down upon others. That I am somebody, that other person is nobody. That to grow out of this tendency and nirmoha, this moha also goes out of thinking. Moha means imputing the wrong values, attributing false values to the clothes, to the possessions, whatever, in so-called status, so-called that some sukha value. Appreciating the limitations of these objects, one becomes free from moha. Then he says, jita sanga dosha. As we said yesterday, sanga means attachment. And the dosha of the attachment means what? That sangha always gives rise to kama, and it gives rise to krodha and sense of failure. These are all doshas born out of sangha. Attachment is something which is to be constantly weeded out. The one comes to know about the attachment only when one misses that object or a person. The absence of that person makes him or her feel incomplete, not at home with himself or herself. A sense of loss in I, centered on I, that is attachment. That one has to grow out of appreciating it's a cognitive battle. Simple fact that I was born alone and I have to go alone. Any relationship without which if I feel without that I'll be nothing, that means there is an attachment. Very beautifully in Bhajagovindam Shankaracharya ji says, Kate kanta kaste putraha samsaroya nasiva vichitraha. All kith and kin, the relationship upon whom I depend for my emotional well-being. Nothing wrong in taking support, but thinking that without them I cannot survive is wrong thinking. I came alone and I am a traveler. People are co-passengers, so we help each other and grow. That is called jitasanga doshaha. And then vinivritta kamaha. Because of sangat he is won over, relatively he becomes free. And then, as we saw these two values, adhyatma nityaha, dvandvaihi vimuktaha. Dvandvaihi, both ways it can be looked upon. Dvandvaihi vimuktaha tasmat adhyatma nityaha tasmat vinivritta kamaha. Since he is free from these pairs of opposite, therefore he is committed to the pursuit of knowledge, and having gained relative abidance in the knowledge, he is free from all kinds of binding desires, or relatively being free from desires. He is committed to the pursuit of knowledge, and that pursuit makes him free from the pairs of opposite. What are the pairs of opposite? As we saw, Sukha, Dukha, Shita, Ushna, etc. In other words, life is full of situations, relationships. What kind of relationships? What should have happened doesn't happen, in my perception. And what should not have happened just keeps on happening in my life. This is what the life is. What my near, dear or relative, any relationship, the person should be behaving or conducting, or the way he or she should be relating to me, just doesn't relate the way I want. And what they should not be doing, they just do the same thing. This complaint starts from childhood, beginning from parents onwards. Mom should have done this, dad should have done this. And of course, siblings is a big problem. There is always feeling, and they somehow go opposite to each other. If they are just 1 or 2 years older to each other, difference of age. Therefore, then there is a pressure within. Then there is a pain within that I am unlucky. Or there is a feeling then goes, why me? Why me only? And then my stars, if there is a Hindu, knows some astrology, my stars are not good. God has not been kind. How to release this pressure? And this dvandva, what should happen, is basically born out of my likes and dislikes. I have a value, raga. Therefore I say this should happen. I have a value called dvesha. Therefore I think this should not happen. This value, subjective value imputation goes not to the world outside, to myself also. I should be like this, and I just can't be the one. I should not be like this, I just be that. Therefore there is always a gap. There is two I within I. One, there is an ideal I, ideal in my own perception, in my own view, what I should be. And the other one, which is actually I discover I know what I am. And that being different, I want people to know me in such and such a way. And I not being there, there is quite often a split personality, or what we say, they always put up a front outside behavior. That goes in the name of manners, etiquette. And therefore I said the other day, the person is quite different when he or she relates to the world outside, and when he or she comes home, is just the opposite. When outside people talk about him or her, family members can't believe, is he the same one are you talking or what? And when they talk, they can't believe, no, it can't be the one. This happens more so with the spouse. Why? When the trust is won, when there is a feeling that this person will not neglect me, will not disown me, whatever I am, then the original I comes out. And when there is a trust, he or she takes the other person for granted. Granted in a sense, the original may come out, but that original doesn't think even that I am hurting that person. I am giving pain. That doesn't happen. So there is a complaint about oneself also. This is all because of ragadvesha. Therefore, as I said, there is only cabin pressure, this cabin pressure. No pressure outside. They say that the situation is so tough, and a lot of pressure of situation. Situation is pressurizing because of your likes and dislikes, because of your values. How to get rid of it? In fact, all that has been discussed in the previous chapters, that is where Karma Yoga comes in. Understand? When we say Lord is all knowledge, Sarvagnaha, He created this whole world. And what kind of knowledge is He? There is one name in Sanskrit to the Lord, Niyati, they call it. Niyati or Niyanta. Niyati, Niyanta means the knowledge expresses in the forms of different orders, different vyavastha in the creation, systems. And it is so definite. In fact, since Lord is all knowledge like this, therefore we have science possible. If you look at any discipline of science, I can define in this way, maybe wrong, but just to understand what is science, whatever may be the discipline, maybe physics or chemistry or zoology or botany, whatever. A scientist is always trying to establish the cause-effect relationship. This is the cause for this particular effect, and this particular reaction becomes a cause for that particular effect. That is a cause-effect relationship they are trying to establish. And they are working on the basis that there is a presumption, not presumption, assurance that it is definite. Cause-effect relationship, it doesn't vary. It is certainty. There is an element of certainty. There is an element of no error whatsoever. Like simple gravitational law works at 22 feet per second acceleration. No error whatsoever. Even if Newton himself jumps, law is same. No, this is the fellow who brought me to light. Let me be a little kind to him. It is not kind. There is certainty. No error. Look at this at a macro level. This huge mass of earth rotating on its own axis with little bend. And while rotating on its own axis, therefore we have day and night. And rotating, it rotates around the sun also. And it completes one round without an error of 1/1,000,000th of a second. What a precision. Not a millionth of second error is there. And our rotating restaurants, there are some, there is a small thing. There also there is error. So precise. By the way, see how great heritage we had and we lost because of foreign rule and then sense. Our astrology, even today, these panchangs are available which can tell what will be the sunrise after 100 years. 100 years panchangs are available. Today, being this March 2014, what will be 2114th March sunrise and sunset? They tell. They had so much of knowledge without this Hubble and all telescopes. This astronomy was so powerful, and offshoot the astrology. Anyway, coming back to this, these laws are so precise. We accept this. We believe, or when we know also, any discipline of science, they know it is precise. But the pity is, the maya is, when it comes to my karma phala, I feel Lord has made mistake. Somehow, when I find in a situation which should not have been there in my life, he has gone wrong, certainly. Then there is a statement, Lord should not have been doing this to me. I should not have this in my life. And more pitiable is, no one says, I should not have this. What all I have, there is no mistake. No one claims, yes, no one says. Sometimes out of gratitude they come to us and say, that is a lip service. Swamiji, God is kind, God is kind. But that kindness is not appreciated. No one says, I don't deserve this. Why me? Why me brought to Gangaji? No one says. When some problem comes, why me? What is it? Appreciating the niyati, accepting the niyati, that his laws are infallible and his laws are impartial, releases this pressure of likes and dislikes. It is purely cognitive. I should be conscious all the time. This is a fact. And if I appreciate this fact, what should not happen is my perception. Then I will understand. And what has happened, it is his perception, that is better perception. Not better, the perception. Why better? It's the only thing that should have happened. Therefore, in English they say, you don't get what you desire, you get what you deserve. But that creates another problem. I don't deserve this, he himself says. He thinks I don't deserve. Deservedness is not in a sense of what you are. Deserving in a sense your karma phalas. When it comes to the law of karma and karma phala, it is niyati. It is definite. It just cannot be otherwise. Why my parents were like that? They just can't be otherwise. Why my childhood was like that? It could not have been otherwise. There is an order. And very beautiful, though it was discussed earlier, briefly we will say, there is something called as attitude of prasada. When it comes from the Lord, you accept it as a prasada. That attitude of prasada helps one to have glad acceptance of what should not have happened. In my perception. See, sukha dukkha dvandvas will be there in life. Samatvam doesn't mean that you become insensitive. No. Like they say, Shita Ushna Samaha. Then I just in cold, winter cold also I go to Gangaji, and summer also I bear there. Samatvam. That is Jadatvam, not Samatvam. The other day I told this is so, I just can't understand. Sakshitvam and Samatvam in this Jain philosophy, they take it in such a way. There is a story about the founder, the Mahavir Swami, who started this religion. They say that you have to practice Sakshitvam. So he was, every day they do half an hour evening, I am Sakshi for 30 minutes. When he is sitting there, somebody rings the bell, he has to sit quiet because I am Sakshi. Is there somebody inside? Don't reply, I am Sakshi. That fellow will be Sakshi. How long? I have come here to return 1 million rupees. Oh, let me do that Sakshi will go away for a moment. And they say, Mahavir Swami was in Sakshitvam, and then the cowherd came around, and the cowherd was looking for his lost cows and goats and sheep. And he asked that fellow, hey, have you seen them? This fellow says, Sakshi. Hey, I am asking you, Sakshi. And then he got so wild that he nailed the ears. He said, are you deaf or what? And they nailed it. And while he was being nailed, Samadukha Samaha. What is Sama? I don't know. He was Sakshi and he remained same even when the ears were nailed. This is all Jadatva. You don't need to become insensitive. Listen this. You can't make the body or the mind insensitive. You have to incapacitate the mind to react. That is samatva. Vishamatvam is in terms of mind's reaction. I incapacitate my mind to create that reactions of likes and dislikes, and then sukha, dukkha, and thereby some subjective complexes, by accepting this as this is the order, which is, as Puja Swamiji would say, not unfallible order. Accept that as an order, and that attitude, this particular value, why I took it again, has been emphasized all along in the Gita, right from beginning in the 13th chapter, 2nd chapter, 15th chapter, every chapter this value is there. That gives a relative composure. That gives a mind which is relatively quiet, ready to receive something. When the mind is riddled with these likes and dislikes, then mind cannot receive any kind of knowledge. That mind will be like yo-yo, pendulum of the clock, from this extreme to that extreme, and ultimately the subjective complexes will be there because of should not and should happen. What happens and what doesn't happen. And then self-complex will make him non-acceptable self to himself. And the self which is non-acceptable is dissatisfied. So much dissatisfied self cannot study Vedanta. I should be relatively happy with myself, should be relatively self-satisfied, self-acceptable to myself. When I want others to accept me, I should first accept me as I am. No point in putting up the front, except these are my weakness, these are my unchangeable areas, and this is what I am. This, not that this is what I am, do whatever you want to do. Not that kind of arrogance or insensitivity. But I accept, I own up my limitations, and this is what and life is like that. And the real love or real relationship is, I can love the person with limitations. I accept other person, what he or she is. And then if I want to correct, I work upon him or her to correct whatever level I can. And if she is or he or she is ready to change. Even if not ready to change, I accept that. That's a long-lasting, real relationship. No point in putting up the front. Anyway, so this relative freedom from dvandva is necessary. When one has that freedom, then only he or she can become adhyatma nityaha. Otherwise, spiritual likes and dislikes will come. Otherwise, those different demands, I should be given this treatment and I should not be, all problems will come. So, dvandvaihi vimuktaha, those who are free from dvanda can be adhyatma nityaha. That means there will be commitment to pursue the self-knowledge. Of course, both goes hand in hand. More you study, especially Vedanta, and in a traditional way, more I gain clarity and more I develop certain attitudes, more I can handle my own likes and dislikes. then again I become more free from dvandvas. More I study, I see that acceptable self that helps me to grow. But relatively, dvandva vimukti, freedom from these pairs of opposite is necessary to begin with. That is karma yoga, part of it that has been talked earlier. And then those people, they are not deluded. Moha, mana, sangha, and dvandva and kama, these are all mohas, delusions, wrong values. Therefore, amudaha gachanti avyayam padam. That padam which is not perishable, that padam which is permanent, they go. And what is that padam? We yesterday saw, na tad bhasayate suryaha, na shashanko na pavakaha, yad gatva na nivartante, tad dhama paramam. That padam is called dhama here. Same thing, two words. That the word dhama is used only for upachara. The meaning of the pad, upachara means figurative. The meaning of the word padam and the meaning of the word dhama means that end. Such seekers achieve that end. Such seeker reach to that end. If it was end, then Lord should have used the word sadhyam. Why he uses word padam and dhama? Because generally to achieve something desired, there is an expression for the desired end. Shastra has been using this word dhama and pada. So since it's a common expression, he continues to use the same. Okay? As such, there is no going that. Why? Because look at the description of padam. What is a description of padam? Na tad bhasayate suryaha, na shashankaha, na pavaka. Sun cannot illuminate. Moon cannot illuminate. Fire cannot illuminate. That means what? Lord has his own special power station. What does it mean that? That means there is something other than sun, or there is some other radiance, and they interpret. That doesn't mean that. It is implied in the second line. What is that? Yad gatva na nivartante. Having reached or gone to which, they do not return. That is mama paramam padam. Paramam dhama. That is my limitless padam, limitless abode. Now, please understand, yesterday we saw, lighting means what? The sun cannot illumine means what? It is not in a literal sense of lighting the thing. The word lighting is also used in a sense of knowing. Therefore they say, please throw some light on it. You know, you throw. And then also we say, oh, I see now. I see now means what? I understand now. So lighting is used in the sense of light of knowingness. That is my limitless abode or sarupam, which cannot be revealed by sun, moon, fire, etc. That how it is there? Look at this. Any object, if it is a source of light or not, should reflect the light, and then my eyes see that particular object. But eyes per se do not see the object. Why? Quite often the eyes are open, but still knowledge doesn't take place. Sometimes the fellow is looking like this, and then knowledge doesn't take place. You may be right in front of him. He is looking across the road, looking at the shop, and you are right in the doorstep of the shop, but when you wave the hand, nothing happens, he looks, because there is no mind behind the eyes. We say ears hear, but ears don't hear sometimes. You should ask Swamiji, then they will know. Some people laugh after whole the class starts laughing because ears were here, mind was somewhere else. The noise disturbed, then they look around. The ears don't hear, eyes don't see, nose don't smell. It sees only when there is a mind behind it. But then mind per se also doesn't see. The mind can see only when there is I behind the mind. Only when I am there. I am that light of consciousness, that knowing principle by which things are known. And we have discussed this in the previous camp. Actually, when you see an object, listen this, we don't see the object per se. Okay? When I lift this particular object, there is an orange colored, this particular shape, what we call a clip. I don't see the object per se. The light reflected on this object comes to the eyes and goes to the mind, and corresponding thought form takes place to the object. When you just close your eyes, suppose I ask you just close your eyes, and I just tell that Gangaji, you see the whole Gangaji. When I say car, then the car comes. When I say cycle, there is a cycle. That means what? Mind assumes a thought form. In Shastric language called as vritti. And what kind of thought form? Corresponding to the object that is seen or heard. When I say car, that thought form comes. When I say cycle, then that thought form comes. When I say aeroplane, then there may be variations in the size and etc. But that particular jati, species comes to you. When I say buffalo with a closed eyes, that aeroplane doesn't look like buffalo. There is a different thought form. The thought form corresponding to the Vishaya. Vishaya means the object. That which is heard or seen as well. This, when you see this clip, there is a corresponding thought form in the mind. And then there is ahankara inside. That corresponding thought form is called as idam vritti, vishaya vritti. Vritti means thought form, in the form of an object. But that is an object thought form. How? Because there is a subject, there is a seer, there is a ahankara also in the form of a thought form, aham vritti. So that ahankara sees that vritti and tells this is a clip. Since we don't see the actual object though we see, but it becomes instrumental in giving rise to corresponding thought form, vishaya vritti. But then knowledge takes place not true to the object, true to the thought form. That is why Rajju Sarpa is possible. You see the rope only, but somehow thought form is of snake here. And you say, this is snake. Actually, there is no snake outside. Had I been really recognizing that object, I would have said snake. But corresponding thought form, for whatever reason, came as a what? Snake in my mind. And that ahankara sees, aham vritti, sees that idam vritti and says, oh, this is snake. That this-ness is there of the rope only, which caused that particular thought form. And so there is a corresponding vritti. But then there is still one more light Who illumines all this? How do you see that thought form of a rope snake? How do I know that this is snake? That knower and the known both are illumined by that self-evident, self-revealing consciousness. That is the light. Sunlight does not illumine those forms. And to explain it further, I can say, when I see the dream, what external light is there to give me the knowledge? No light. And that too, you have gone to bed at night and you just can't tolerate a single light. You want the whole thing to be dark. It is dark, but then the dream is as clear as daylight. Not that the fellow put two wires, negative, positive, and put the bulb in the cavity of the throat to illumine the dream. No. The whole dream world is illumined. Illumined means revealed. Revealed means known. The knowingness, yesterday I told you, light is the what? Light of knowingness. Light of becoming evident. All the dream objects become evident to me. Whole waking world is evident to me because there is mind. But the mind is not there, whole world is not evident. In sleep. But then mind per se is inert. There is a light of consciousness. Again, light of consciousness. That principle, awareness, which illumines the whole waking world, dream world and the sleep world also. Absence of the world. That there is an ego who doesn't know anything, that also is known to me. That knowing principle, natad bhasayate suryaha na shashanko napa. It is that consciousness that illumines all the vrittis. Therefore, Atma is a real source of light. Real source of light means real source of knowingness. Then what kind of light it is does it require, how is that Atma is a light of consciousness is known, self-revealing. Ahamasmi sadabhami. I am there always, I know that I am. I don't require any external source of light to reveal the existence. I may not know something. You may say, please throw some light and teach me this. You don't need anybody to be told. Please teach me whether I am there or not. That is, even to make that statement, you should be there. At least knowing that I do not know myself. When a student comes and says, hey teacher, I do not know Atma, please teach me Atma. He knows that I do not know. And that person is there. That limitless consciousness, that sun which all the vrittis, that sun cannot illumine, moon cannot illumine, fire cannot illumine. All these vrittis that are illumined in the light of consciousness, which is self-evident, self-revealing, that is mama dhamma. That is my real nature. Means what? Lord says what he told in the 13th chapter, I am you. That I that is there inside, who claims I am, self-revealing. Balyadishu, jagradadishu, sarvas avastasvapi, vyavrittasvanu vartamanam aham, antaspuranta. It reveals all the time, I. That self-revealing, self-known I is my light. That means I am you. And he says, having gained that, yadgat, having reached that, nanivartante, you do not come back. No one comes back. How is it possible? Again the question. How can you say gatvana nivartante? As I said yesterday, scriptures are very clear. If there is a going involved, it is always with return ticket. One-way tickets are not issued in the Lord's galaxy. It is always return ticket. Even Brahmaji also has a return ticket. Indra also has a return ticket. All Apsaras, everybody has a return ticket. Then how do you say going? Shankaracharya ji says, Sarvaha hi gatihi agatyantaha. All going is always subject to return. Anything achieved in time T1 will be lost in time T2. There may be little longer span in time between time T1 and T2, but T2 will put an end to it. And then you say you merge with the Lord. Yesterday we discussed. There is a sarve sanyogaha viyoga antaha. Any joining, any joint is always subject to disintegration. Disjoint will always happen. And suppose I really join, it is not possible also. Because connection, sanyoga means connection, is possible only in a thing which has a form. How can you connect two things which are formless? This pot space in this cup and the pot space in this pot, I am joining them. Can you join? When there is avayava, when there are limbs, there is a limb in the clip and there is another clip which also has some limbs. Then I can connect this clip. There is a pen and I can join these two things together. But now you say Lord is formless, Brahman is formless. How come that fellow Jivatma is to join with the Lord? Second question that comes to this, two inert objects cannot join by itself. There are two pots lying here, and I have a habit of putting one big pot on this side and small on other side. They don't think, come on buddy, we have been seeing each other for last 10 days. Let's come closer. Two inert objects cannot join on their own. And suppose this is Ishvara and this is Jivatma who joins to Ishvara. Jivatma, if he is inert, how does he go to this Ishvara? Obviously, the connection, joining can be possible only between two conscious entities. Correct? Or at least one conscious. Like we are conscious and we join with the table. We join with the car. My hands are joined with the pot. So either Jivatma is conscious or Paramatma is conscious. If you say Paramatma is conscious, then Jivatma cannot go to Paramatma. And if you say only Jivatma is conscious, why the hell should I go to inert Paramatma? I am better off. So there should be both conscious. That means, do we have this two entity called Jivatma, Paramatma really? Jivatma merging to Paramatma. Jiv ka Shiv se milan hai. There is a meeting between Jiva and Shiva. And I told you all these stories. We have so many bhaktas. And in the Hindi movie they show the bhakta literally walked into the body of the Lord. And poor Lord, as Swamiji would say, now taking flagels. Because a lot of stomach problem, they are sitting inside and fighting among themselves like those bacteria inside. And they have a problem. Literally joining is possible. How it is? Then now, very important verse. And why I am saying important, in fact important is later on also, very confusing. Somehow there is a statement you must have heard. All are Brahman and there is a spark of consciousness within us. Here is a spark and there is a big sun there. So I am a little Atma and that is Param Atma. And then they keep quoting some Upanishad, Mundaka Upanishad, Yag Yatha Vispulindat Agnihe, and they invariably quote this shloka. And they say, whole north is full of this. Here you will hear, Hum Paramatma ke amsh hai. We are part of Paramatma. And then part has to unite with the total. This statement itself is contradictory. If the part has to unite with the total, how can that be unite without this part? If it is total and this part has to unite, that means there is no complete total. And as Swamiji would say, poor Bhagavan is bereft of all of us. So millions of jivas. So many are away from him. So he is very little, small little Bhagavan. And then if he is separate, then he will say Uncle Sam. Having an address, email address, he would say, Vishnu@vaikunta.com. You can mail me in that. And then they say, God sitting in heaven and Jivatma goes to there. He is no more limitless. Because Jivatmas are infinite. Everybody disown that I am not with you. Beginning from mosquito onwards. And ants and bacteria and cows and buffaloes and elephants and whatnot. It is there. All jivas are out of him. And still you call him total. What total is left over? Nothing. Very poor, like except the treasury of government of India giving all donations to salaried people. Nothing is left over. The fellow, there will not be left over anything. And if he has part, and then one part joins him, what about other parts? Then question comes, who divided him? When if he has a parts, who divided this part? And if you say he himself divided, why should he do that? And then ask, hey, come to me, God is calling you, Jivatmas. So he acts. And there is no spark business, okay? We are amshaha, part of the God that within the light of consciousness is emanating. And these ISKCON fellows will draw a human being and in between light, a radiating light inside, the heart sitting. And people have stories. Our Guru saw the divine light within. I don't know what is divine. And within. And that divine light is there within. And the divine has to merge into total. There is no spark. There is no divine, it is total only. No amsha business that he explains in the next verse. Therefore I said very important because somehow this is one of the most confused verse. Like our karma yoga. Act without expecting the result. Similarly, they all say, we are the amsha of Ishvara. And break open the shackles. Which shackle I don't know. That means you have to break open the whole blessed body and then throw this light into total. Just read the verse, we'll see in the next class. Mamevamsho jiva loke jiva bhutas sanatanaha Manashashthānindriyāni Prakrutisthāni karshati. We'll see later longer discussion next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadha Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.